And we are on the phone today with Pastor Sharon Rankins-Bird. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
And you are the pastor of what everybody refers to as the Little White Church in Schuyler Lake.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, this church, it's not the new church on the block. Founded 1880 is what I'm seeing.
Yes, the building dates back to then. The congregation actually was around a little bit before the building was built, but they have been a presence in that community and are very proud to say that they have been a presence in that community for well over a century, and they're going to be there for a long time to come. They fervently believe.
Awesome. Now, in 2010, as a lot of us have heard, the church actually was destroyed by fire.
That's correct. 3 days after Christmas, fire broke out a little bit before daylight. Some of our parishioners woke up to the news that the fire company was being called to their church, and all they could do was watch the building be pretty nearly destroyed. The foundation corners were still there, the walls were still standing when it was all said and done, but there wasn't much more than that.
And there was a mention like the stained glass. There was like an emotional attachment to the stained glass that the firemen had to break.
Yeah, as so many churches do, the windows on the sidewalls had been given in memory of different parishioners over a period of time, and in particular, there's a gentleman in the congregation, still part of that church today. One of the windows was in memory of his family, his mother and his grandmother, and the fire company looked at him before they took that window out, and they said, "We don't want to take that window out. It has your family's name on it." And he said, "No, it's what you need to do. You do your job. It's okay." Almost all the windows were either destroyed by the fire or had to be taken out by the firemen. But they told us afterwards, when we started having the building evaluated, that because of the heat of the fire, the glass had become brittle. So even what glass had been salvaged could not still be used as a window because it had been damaged. The structure of the glass itself had been damaged by the heat of the fire. We do have one window intact that is on display inside of the church, so you can see what the windows used to look like, but they do not hang in those spaces anymore.
Okay, now tell us a little bit about the journey to rebuild.
Well, it was quite an intensive journey for the members of that congregation, and I was not their pastor at that time. I have only been the pastor since July 1st of 2013. So they had really gone through a lot of their process before I came into that picture. We are a United Methodist Church. We call it the Little White Church, but it is actually the Schuyler Lake United Methodist Church. We are part of the Oneonta District and the Upper New York Annual Conference is a Methodist Church. And as such, we are connected with that larger body. And so the conference walked with the people of the church through this time, through discerning what their purpose and their mission was, and discerning how and whether to rebuild. And that was certainly a question that the conference asked them initially. Should you rebuild? You are a small congregation in a small community. Do you have a sense of purpose and mission for being there? The congregation said from day one, we are going to rebuild. We are going to be here. The December 28th, the day of the fire, was midweek. That Sunday morning, they gathered in the home of one of the families in the community, and from that worship service forward, they said, "No, we're going to rebuild. We are going to rebuild. This church is not going to disappear from the landscape in Schuyler Lake." But what that put them into was a process of considering what their mission was in the community. And as they have come to articulate that vision, they believe that they are committed to outreach ministry to the community, They hold a free meal every month from October through April. It's called Second Sunday Soup. It is a free meal. There will be 7 or 8 varieties of soup, all kinds of desserts, breads, things that members of the congregation make to share with the people in their community. And I think last month we served more than 60 people at this meal, which is free. Some people choose to leave a donation, certainly not expected, but folks come from all over to come and have soup at the Little White Church. We are going to be, later this spring, opening a food pantry out of that church. It's been a part of the vision for a long time, and we're finally in a place where we can make that happen. Schuyler Lake is a small community. It's part of the larger Richfield Springs School District, and there is a food pantry for the Richfield Springs School District up in Richfield, but Schuyler Lake's about 7 miles away from Richfield, and we realized that this is a community that could also benefit from having a food pantry right located here. So we are getting ready to open that. We are very excited to be able to offer that to our neighbors who might have need of it. And we're trying to do more activities for kids, because we realize there's not a lot for kids in town either. So next Saturday there's going to be an Easter egg, well, we hope an Easter egg hunt outdoors if the snow would melt, but if it doesn't, we have some other plans. We do a Christmas pageant in December, and we're open to hearing other ideas from the community about how the church can be meeting the needs of the community.
Awesome. Now, the event next weekend, the Easter egg hunt, how does somebody get involved in that?
Show up at church. We've set 11 o'clock for our starting time. There'll be face painting, there'll be crafts, there'll be story time, there'll be snacks, and we'll be figuring out how we can hunt some Easter eggs and at the same time be sharing the joy that the church shares at Easter as we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ.
Pastor Sharon, thank you for spending a little bit of time with us here today.
Thank you so much, Al. I appreciate the invitation to sit and chat with you.
And if your church or organization is hosting an event, send us an email at adkpraise@yahoo.com or call us 315-793-9882.